Welcome everybody to the Onward VR Master League. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. It is you, me, and my cup of tea. In today's matchup, it is going to be Mayhem versus Animal House. One that I think is rightfully so very hyped up in the Onward community. Two incredibly high-tier teams. Mayhem, in particular, really starting to excel as a team that's in the top 5 regularly. 2nd place worldwide, going up against the likes of Animal House, ranked 10th overall in the worldwide. And so, you know, we've been talking about it the whole week. You know, all throughout. This is the last 2 weeks of regular season. And so these teams are battling for a place in the closed qualifier. That is ranks 1 through 7, I believe. I could be 1 through 6. I believe it's 1 through 7, and then ranks 8 and below compete in the Challenger Cup, which is a very long, lengthy process of going through a round robin and defeating multiple teams in order to secure your 8th position in that closed qualifier. And so, you know, it's always important to keep an eye on these teams at the top level, and I'm incredibly excited to see what we have from Mayhem. We got to get into pick bands. I'm running a little late on the time, so let's dive right into what we're going to have for us today. Coming in from the likes of Mayhem, I believe we have, get it here. Yes, okay, I can confirm. From the likes of Mayhem, we have Suburbia coming out. And over from Animal House, we have Subway. So, close quarters maps getting picked off the table there. Curious to see how that ultimately affects the game today. It does mean we're going to have a bit more long-range maps in play, the likes of, you know, Quarantine and Downfall. The long-range stuff going to be on the plate here, and so I am anticipating, you know, snipers definitely to be a huge factor here, a big element. I think map 1 is going to be Downfall, but I'm not sure, and I do think we're going to have to cut to an intermission to give me some time to set up this lobby. So I'll be right back with map number 1, round 1, in Mayhem versus Animal House. Don't go anywhere. Thank you all for patiently waiting for the start of map number 1, which is going to be Downfall. I said I think it might be what we see here today, and it is ultimately what the first map of the day is going to be. Let's take a quick look at active rosters while teams sort themselves in our first objective. It is going to be Defilade, James Boak, Monarchid, Theta, and Wookie over on Mayhem side. And over on Animal House, we have F. Lipinski, Nix Dragon, Wicked Hex, Nolamite, and Will-O-Wisp. Seems to be the standard rosters here already. Things off to a rough start for the likes of Mayhem. Wookie gets picked up. They do manage to get a trade, and actually I think things go off with a bang for Mayhem. A bit of an over-aggressive rotation from Animal House, maybe not expecting the spawn to be here. A Willow gets tagged, and one else is instantly scooped up. Now James putting suppressive fire through the window, and off to a very fast start. Animal House already down a couple of key members here. Mono's going to get a little aggressive, pushing up on that street, gets ID'd by Lipinski on the corner.
He's still in the dark room, lower down.
Defilade finding shots onto Lipinski out in front of objective. No. Where is that? Lipinski was peeking the bottom window and gets sniped. Jeez, what a heck of an angle there. Wait, how did Lipinski get shot? I'm so confused.
Objective's still good, right, Hello? Yeah.
Well, Lipinski did go down. He gets res. Not sure who tagged him, but either way.
I'm watching West.
Interesting shot. And Willow essentially down, but is able to call out any sort of thing he sees if there's any rotations coming out on the street. Right now, though, everyone playing pretty patiently. The likes of James and Mono. And I mean, so it's interesting off of that start, off of getting some kills, how passive this Mayhem offense is playing. They are really sitting back here.
Lower dumpster, dark room.
Shots coming out towards the slow crawl up against that wall. You do see Mono taking some rounds from Nolamite.
There's one on the west wall over there. West wall? Yeah. Do we have any confirmed kills?
Active comms there on objective from everyone, making sure they know what the situation is. And yeah, they have no kills. So not exactly an easy defense here. They are set up properly, though. They have Lipinski and Nix able to sort of rotate quickly to any sort of south flank push that's going to come in, which isn't coming in. Essentially, everyone's set up, really just Nolamite set up to guard the front cap. Nix watching the south. Lipinski gets tagged. He's going to be unresable. Big tag there for James, and now Nix is going to take up a position here. Maybe he's going to look for the frag onto James, but he's got to be careful. It's a very tight angle. Unless you're half crouched, he's not going to see it. Nix is tucked into the underground now, and this is going to be the defense they go with. If one of them goes down, it's going to be panic rotations, but they are in key positions to defend, and it's going to come down to Mayhem pushing in on them, I think is the plan for these final two defense for Animal House. Mono swings out, does get past Nolamite, not good for Nolamite's position. Mono could eventually swing here and find a fresh angle that Nolo might not be ready for. Nolo is going to adjust accordingly. Tuck himself in a little bit more.
Grab the rail church, copy. Yeah.
We did spot out Mono. Is he going to be ready for that nade, though? A flash comes out and over. I think it's a bit too high. Mono can't quite see in here. He is seemingly looking to set up for an entry point into the south. And Nix is going to essentially have a 1v3. Uh-oh, front cover is gone. Now Nix has to come out here and rotate on the outside. All sorts of angles on him, though. Wookie's going to have an easy kill there. And Mayhem, with 5 left alive, take downfall round 1 on Marsoc. You know, the argument prevails for most people that downfall is so hard without smokes. You know, it's to attack and approach the objective incredibly difficult on Marsoc on downfall now without any smoke grenades, but I think we just saw case in point, the number 2 team worldwide here demonstrate how effective it can be if you have the right angles, if you get some early picks, obviously helping them there as well, but a bang-up start for these guys right now. Absolutely what they're looking for. An Animal House, hopefully not worried too much, but certainly if I'm them, scratching your heads a little bit, you know, how did things go so awry? How did things go so wrong? Comes kind of that question, but either way, an incredibly solid start for Mayhem. Round number 2 underway here. We'll see what kind of spawn. Oh, interesting. Animal House get a different quick spawn. I think, you know, this is obviously less volatile. You're not going to get tagged right out the gate, but these Animal House, they could essentially charge straight up this hill and be challenging Mayhem right out the gate. We're going to have to see what their approach is. I'm assuming it is going to be aggressive. Refire coming out. Theta gets Wicked Hex. Instantly reacts to hearing those shots. Stays ducked down under the window as he rotates to the front side because there was a Nolamite there looking for that shot through that window. Able to check that dark room. Doesn't see much. And Theta's just going to play defense here in this white building.
Marsoc rocks.
Very good vision from him, too, to be able to ID Nolamite on the back there.
Cannot see the body, so no.
Oh, he's actually just calling out. He's not IDing. He hasn't seen Nolamite. He's IDing the body that he killed on Marsoc's rock. So Theta is at risk here. I think Nolamite has spotted Theta peeking up, but hasn't taken the shots just yet. And the rest of this Animal House offense, not necessarily stalled, but just sort of waiting to set up a little bit more. Maybe get a rotation in over to the north. Have lost one already, so.
Did anybody see anything? I hear movement near me. Bungalow? South bungalow? Might be in the same house.
Sometimes, you know, we talk about how you know, important it is to hear audio. It's, if you know, you mistake audio, it can also hurt you. So, you know, a bit of a mistaken identity over there in the center. They think thinks he might be hearing someone inside that building, and it is going to throw off that rotation of any sort of offense over onto that side. You can now see everyone is sort of heavily favoring that south, and got to get on board. A couple of these boys up on the hill, Nolamite, and I think now Willow, going for that long rotation along this hilltop. Interesting that Willow is up here with an LMG. Mono finds Nolamite, and now Willow's got to be wondering how safe it is for him to be up here. Excellent long-range shot, though, from Mono all the way down there on objective building.
One's two-story of objective building.
Lipinski taking shots. Nynx has an interesting line here. Everyone is holding very tight angles, but to that end, it does open up a couple of different paths. Callouts from James, and now Wookiee's going to have eyes on here. Information, though, for Nynx to work with. He's been looking at that bottom floor for a while and hasn't been able to catch him. Theta rotates into White House. Lipinski not out there to catch that out, and now Lipinski all alone. Minute 30 left. Mayhem may take round 2 without losing a single defender as well. Mono looking for the angle on the gap here. I think he's going to get it. Theta's not checking window either, so Lipinski is going to be able to live bit longer here as he makes his approach up to White House. And maybe if he can get Theta, there's some sort of route he can take to slowly pick off one by one, but slowly is not necessarily something that he has time for. 45 seconds left on the clock.
Cannot confirm my first one. Remember that. On me, on me. On me.
Lipinski charges in, looks for Theta. Theta calling out the position. Mono took some shots up over the edge. Bit of a team kill at the end there, but ultimately Mayhem. All 5 alive there at the end, except for Theta, of course, trading and that team kill. A solid job from them to snag round 2, and this is not looking very good for the likes of Animal House. Downfall, maybe not necessarily their map. You know, we have these. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the Animal House preference at this point in the current iteration of Onward, and I don't know. Historically, it's been very fast-paced, chaotic gameplay they've excelled in, and it makes sense in that scenario why Suburbia is taken off of the plate. You know, Mayhem banning that from Animal House to be able to choose. Does still leave the likes of Cargo and Quarantine, Bazaar. There is still some close quarters maps. Quarantine I don't think would be a good choice considering how Downfall is going for them right now. Mayhem's certainly doing well with the range. See if that continues though. Animal House is not a team you can count out. In fact, they're a team that I think does quite well from behind. So round number 3 underway. Some early rotations coming out from Wicked Hex and Mayhem taking shots on the cross from their northeast spawn.
One moving up to Volcano, fucking... Damn it.
Did manage to cross over. Can't remember the call out for that location, and now Nink's going to be the front line. Has an angle down to Deflate and James if they do decide to rotate out. In the meantime, shots coming in from Lipinski on South Ravine.
Far east near our old spawn. Fuck, my tracking is gone. If he died, message green.
Willow takes a little damage from the drop down there. He's going to have to syringe and now vulnerable to being one shot. Nink's able to catch Deflate that he definitely did end up trying to push out there. Mono scooping up Wicked Hex. Going to keep an eye on Willow as he rotates. Getting ever closer to Wookie. Wookie is going to drop off of this angle, as is Theta, but Theta might be a bit too late. Is Willow going to be able to spot this rotation? This could actually really hurt Animal House in the long run, too, because they've managed to draw a defender very far away from objective. If the rest of this Mayhem team were to suddenly push up through the center, they could have an opportunity on their hands to punch in the code before defense can rotate. Now, of course, there's plenty of space to go and plenty of room for Mayhem to cover for them to even get close to objective, because right now they are not near it, but we're into the 4v4.
The one, where exactly?
Shots coming out over that shoulder onto Theta, trying to suppress Nink's Dragon inside that two-story. They're not sure where he is, but now they definitely know he's in there. And Wookiee also putting rounds onto those windows. James is slowly pushing up, and I wonder if that's what that suppressive fire is really for, so that James can work himself ever closer to Nink's in the center. Keep our attention split there. Ooh, Lipinski peeks up and over off of that rock position he was going for and catches James.
One's West Street, West Street.
A few more shots at that west cross. Can't quite tag him as he drops back.
I don't know.
Ada and Wookiee hearing those shots. Willow taking an interesting position up into that top floor in the tower. Nink's still alive here as well. He's a close threat. Comms coming out there, and Wookiee definitely hears this. Flash comes out and over. I don't think Nink's is caught. Puts a couple of bits of pre-fire down. Willow has an angle here from that top floor. Hasn't taken shots down onto Wookiee. Theta does able to, Theta and Wookiee pinch Nink's inside, and now with a minute left, going to be the easiest thing for them to pull off here. Willow, again, has a great line of sight, and if they try to make this rotation out. No shots, though, coming out from Willow. Maybe he just can't line up what he's looking for there. They do ID Lipinski. He's got to drop off the rock, and now with 45 seconds left, they got to move. Theta gets scooped up by Lipinski. Nice shots coming in from him. Call-outs there. Wookiee going to rotate, but he's getting slowly flanked by Willow. A trade between the two of them. Shots from Wookiee. Willow almost has the angle, finally able to push up and over, and Animal House on the board with a kill to finish round 3. Shout out to all those folks tuning in today. Do appreciate you. Make sure to hit that follow button, as we do quite a bit of casting here on this channel, as well as Onward _ VRMLs 2 and 3. We have multiple channels because sometimes we have multiple games live at the same time, and I don't have to buy a whole lot of time between rounds, not necessarily using that full minute and a half to hash out a strategy that there is between rounds. Instead, both teams readying up because they feel confident in their strategies. Mayhem obviously feeling good as we dive into round number 4.
We need to make sure we get those nice rocks quicker. Something to work on.
Yeah.
You got held up.
Crossing, wish me luck.
Mono gonna go for a cross to get into a defensive position. It is risky because if they do have the spawn they have, shots can ring down onto them. Nobody is gonna line up those shots, and Wookiee's gonna continue to get aggressive as well and push up to the 3-story in the center. Can have all kinds of good angles down onto any sort of rotation from Animal House, and gonna be a key defensive position there on that bottom floor. Theta already finding one on the east.
-1. Cannot see the body.
I see in chat we have some new faces. If you are unfamiliar with Onward, this is a 5 versus 5 military simulator.
Yeah,
Think search and destroy game mode, and you've got it. Marsoc is trying to attack an objective and plant, or defuse the bomb. Historically, it would be planting, but this time they're trying to defuse. And if they can defuse, it is 2 points for that Marsoc team. Marsoc is always blue. The Volk team, in the meanwhile, is trying to defend that objective. Every round, they swap sides. Apologize for that. Sure what happened there. Every round, they swap sides, and every 2 rounds, the objective switches. So each team gets a chance to attack and defend the objective, and then it changes position. Theta almost here, looking at Wicked. Could turn this into a 5v3 for the likes of Mayhem, and they would continue to pile onto their lead, potentially Wicked playing it safe, though. Playing it quiet. Deflate's not hearing him, so no callouts are coming to Theta. Catches him out there. In the meanwhile, Lipinski trying to find some long-range shots, trying to snipe out sort of defenders there, but not landing the shots he's looking for. And Animal House down to just 3. We're going to have to tune in over to the likes of Willow, who is making a bit of a push here up towards objective. Manages to get inside the 3-story and now could potentially be a very major threat to the likes of James if he's not ready for this rotation. Mayhem now down to 3. Very weak on defense, ultimately. If James goes down, Willow could potentially prone his way up to that objective and go undetected from the likes of Deflate and Theta. I doubt, of course, Mayhem hold those positions for long if James dies, but either way, Willow does ID Theta. Shots coming in from the LMG, and they go just a bit wide. His position now known. James tries to tag him as he goes down the stairs. Can't quite find the shots. 1:50 on the clock before this a team has to push the objective.
One on me.
Shots from Defilade. Here's Nynx. Gets a good flash out. Nynx completely blind. Putting just pre-fire rounds into the window. 1:28 left. Uh-oh, a botched nade. He's going to have to run away from that one. Theta capitalizes on the confusion, swings, gets the kill, and now the lone attacker, F. Lipinski, in the 1v3. We've seen it happen before, so I'm not counting him out just yet, and he's found a couple of kills already. But he's got only 1:10 to work with. Checking all the right angles. Ultimately, too many to keep track of, though. James swings to the other window, gets the shots off, and Mayhem advance their lead 3-1. Don't worry, I'm still here, just taking a brief sip of this tea. Map number 1 here, if you're just tuning in, round number 5 underway. Mayhem really performing quite well on Downfall right now, and it is their map pick, so not terribly surprising to see, but Animal House seemingly having a tough time with the Mayhem offense and defense, and we'll see if maybe a shift in objective is what Animal House need to put a couple more rounds on the board and tie things up. Certainly already eyes on what could be the potential spawn. It would be a lot of information for Animal House they could ID an early spawn out of Mayhem, but Dolomite's not going to see anything, and it's going to be Animal House in the dark, wondering where Mayhem has spawned. Again, if you're not familiar, there are multiple spawn points for Marsoc per each objective, but the Volk defending team always spawns on objective. Now, those shots coming in from the north is a potential indicator. At this time, there could have been a rotation. But, yeah, Animal House are literally discussing exactly what I am, and with the amount of time that there's been in the round, it doesn't seem practical as someone could get all the way to that side, into that building, and take those shots. And so they are anticipating it's a northeast spawn. That could throw a bit of false sense of confidence in them, though, because it is a rotation coming out of Mayhem already, and I mean, it's almost all the way here into the south.
What do you want to do?
Just take, excuse me, take the lower dumpster. Move from there.
All right, I like that. Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. We're about to be on.
I think he's shooting at something. Defilade has found one. That's coming out for suppression as James begins his advancement. I think that's also an indicator for Theta and Wookiee to push forward, and if we were to dip over there, you'd see them rotating into the south. I want to keep an eye on James since he could be running into Nolamite very soon. Use this rotation. He may even catch out F. Lipinski getting Frosty on the corner, and actually Theta's going to be the one to catch that angle.
Yeah.
Very interesting shot there. James almost IDing Nolamite's head here. Does rotate as Nolamite prones.
Taking that shot, really.
This is the split coming in for Mayhem. James and Bono here. Looking good. Theta pushing in, Defilade in through the center. It's a full press from Mayhem. Only 3 left alive. They have blasted past Nynx. Still alive. Could potentially play it slow and steady and catch Theta in the back. Wookiee isn't there to reinforce. Nolamite gets James. Nynx doesn't peek. Does he peek? Yes, he does. Theta goes down. Things are evened up out the gate here. 3-3, a minute 20 left, and Wookiee's taking some long-range shots. Pick up there from Nynx, and now it's down to Defilade and Mono in a 2v3. Mono right on top of Wicked and Nolamite, and this is going to be an interesting bit of exchangement because they're definitely going to see each other. Defilade catches one, Wicked gets Mono, and now it's just Defilade versus the 2 inside objective building, and they got to make sure they watch this cross. Wicked has to rotate out. He gets scooped up, and they don't know where these shots are coming from. Defilade has managed to tuck himself into the black the downed helo, and it's so hard for them to ID him inside of that. And now Nolamite, the final defender. He's holding a good angle, but and they have Lipinski to watch objectives, so he's safe here to sit and defend and wait for the cross. Defilade is making his way out. 15 seconds left. Nolamite really has to tuck in at this point, and Defilade goes for the full sprint to go for the cap. Nolo denies it. Animal House putting on another round, and like I said, you can't count them out. They're a team that will battle back and does well from behind, and here they are, making this one a bit closer, 3-2.
drop your gun.
Oh, hell yeah.
Watch your peaks. Oh no.
Don't get your head blown off. We can
Okay.
just make them wait.
If James dies, I die.
Well, let's not die fast.
Mono and Theta repping the casting crew here.
You going bottom floor?
Love to see him on the desk. Love casting with both of them, but they are playing for what could be first place. If they can get enough MMR, they are right there battling it out up against the likes of beginners worldwide. And granted, they don't face beginners often because they are an EU team. It really only happens in a button cup scenario or the finals. But I guess that's a matchup that is slowly starting to build hype in my mind, at least. I'm very interested to see what Mayhem can do up against that team that historically has put W's up against the likes of Globochem of old. I guess Globochem now sort of out of the picture.
South Ravine, somewhere.
But a pretty tight kill box from the likes of Mayhem here. Defilade, let me squeeze out of the window. Maybe I can go through this one? Hey, Defilade could swing and be looking at a lot of Animal House, but there's obviously a lot of risk in doing that and peeking these windows, and he's opted instead to be holding a different angle. He's watching actually the north. If he can snipe any sort of rotation out. Theta has eyes on the south. Also, James holding a key crossing point for that south ravine. Actually, he's not. They're really giving up the south. The Animal House can easily get to Wookiee undetected.
Are you guys shooting at my building?
Defilade catches out Wicked Hex. Willow suppressing all kinds of different angles there, but it is going to be a pickup onto that north entry point, and so it's going to come down to the four-man press from the south. Just don't think Defilade's going to swing and peek this.
His body's...
Pinsky has the range. He's looking for some sort of sniping shot as well, and I think I heard it coming out from this Animal House team. Mayhem just hold tight angles, you know, and they're on defense or offense. They aren't necessarily, I guess, just mainly defense. On offense, they're finding good picks, but on defense, they hold these very tight angles around the kill box. They don't expose themselves if they don't have to. Theta here calling out a position, and I'm curious if Defilade is going to react off of that or if he's going to hold his ground.
There's one in Center Hotel with me. There's one in Center Hotel with me on the left side.
Oh, Nolamite catches a couple of rounds to the back. Wookiee's still able to stay alive here. Nolamite does go down. Nix doesn't reinforce, and there's some serious confusion in this building. Now he checks pad, knows that he's lost his teammate. He's up next on the challenging block for Wookiee. The trade into the center. Defilade finds one out over the top, and now it's all down to Lipinski again into the 1v3.
That's me.
Also, a fellow caster repping the casting squad.
God damn it. No shot. No chance. 23 seconds. No.
seems to be aware of his predicament as well. Going to run out of time here. Mayhem are going to take this one on the clock, of all things, which will lock in the series. And I suppose not unheard of. Lipinski is the sniper, the backmost Overwatch position, and if his team dies, essentially, it's going to be tough for him to push up towards objective and fight in close quarters. Theta shows him an LMG and what it can do at medium range, and Mayhem snag map number 142. If you're familiar with the audio cues, map number 2 is Bazaar, and so not a bizarre choice coming out from this team. I would, anticipate a little bit closer quarters to be something that Animal House is looking for. Even though we did see sniping coming out from them, and that's something that I don't know. Downfall just didn't go out the way. Maybe too rough of a start for them. They started to get some momentum towards the later half, and I am curious now if they'll be able to sort of gather up what bit of energy they had on Downfall and transfer it to Bazaar, because it is their map pick. Yes, and now is the time to sort of answer back, get an early round on Marsoc of your own, and who knows, we're not starting on Kayat, so don't have to worry about that level of volatility out the gate, but excited to see what Animal House bring on Bazaar. Take a look at the rosters here. See if we have any subs. Don't think so. I don't believe we have any sort of roster swapping coming out here. And when teams both ready for round number 1 of map 2, we'll see.
Hi, NightFiree. Thanks for the cash, buddy. I guess. Serious hats on.
Stunts from Defilade, and a good shout out. Appreciate you, boys. I cast it because it is fun. It's why I'm here, and wonder if that little cross from Animal House was caught out by the likes of Mayhem.
Oh man, I'm freezing.
Don't freeze.
My headset keeps freezing now. I'm really nauseating.
Lipinski catching Defilade out in the south and very tight angle through the window. Gets the first kill, and
I might have downed one. I think I downed one, not sure.
He doesn't even know he got that, if he got that shot or not. A couple of shots coming from Nix. He almost lands himself a kill, but can't quite get it. Suppressive fire coming out towards him, and he has to drop off. In the meanwhile, a little bit of a rotation from the likes of Willow. Mono's taking shots. He catches Willow out. Trying to get over there, but there's a lot of pre-fire. Wicked and Mono trade, and under a bevy of fire across the board, Animal House lose 2, and Mono
The one is not confirmed.
goes down.
I traded with one over here. I traded with him in the east. They're sending one to come get him.
No, I'll get you first. Crawl
Where's he
over
on?
here and knife fight. Ah, my kill.
Yep, your kill's gone, but
We're
you're
good,
still
we're
alive. Alright, I'm getting back.
Theta rotates safe for the res, and now Animal House down to 3.
From the south.
Their east push getting shut down, but the rest of things not looking too rough. Lipinski still has to cross the street, but Nolamite's there. And honestly, this is the best avenue of approach for this team. We'll see if Lipinski can get across here. Suppressive fire from Nix up over the center does draw the attention perfectly, and Lipinski able to get across the street without James peeking that lane. Theta could potentially swing wide here as a trade between James and Nix in the center goes down, and now it's just these two. Minute 40 and all is quiet on the Eastern Front. Mono gets a little overzealous, rotates out towards objective, goes down. Theta is looking to get the refrag. Lipinski holding a tight slice of an angle there, and now going to try for a nade. Does ID Theta peeking the window. Rounds come down to him, and Theta almost vulnerable to Nolamite on the rotation. Nolamite catches him out. James hears those shots. Nolamite's here, crossing out. James able to swing, gets the kill. 55 seconds left for Lipinski to work with in a 1v2. Again, Lipinski the final survivor. Good res there, a key one at that. Theta has information on this defensive position, and a 1v3 now for Lipinski. Gets Theta, but not before the trade comes out. Mayhem continue to hold the lead in the series and in map 2. Do go up here 1-0 to kick things off. We appreciate you guys letting me have these brief moments of audio respite. I do need the breaks, and the best time is usually between rounds. It does look like, on the Mayhem end of things, we may have a timeout coming. So I don't think we're going to kick off the round right away, and again, at the risk of overusing my voice, I think we will probably cut to an intermission. It's going to be like 30 seconds max, and then we'll be back into the round. Wookie just has to do a quick Theta hopefully has to do a quick reset, and we'll be back in sorted. Don't go anywhere. Round number 2 of map 2 starting soon. Almost exact in my prediction. 30 seconds is all it took, and round number 2 underway here.
I'm gonna do the same. They're gonna surround the objective.
Yeah, I feel like they are.
Going to be a northwest spawn, and very similar approach to this objective that Animal House threw off. You can see on the overhead here the east rotation going off there. We followed that last round, and going to come to fruition eventually. The only difference in defense here is instead of investing in a, well, they do have Willow there as well, but Wicked has managed to cross the street and is holding a position where you could swing and have this angle onto Mono and Wookie if they do decide to go for this cross. And even if they make it, Willow's there ready to answer, so not going to be easy approach for these two on the east.
Three, top 4.
Shots from James trying to find.
Oh, damn it. So close.
Wow, and tries to go for the nade toss. Definitely getting cheeky with it. In the meanwhile, Mono and Wookie still not rotating out. James finally catches Nynx, and now that might be the indicator for this cross to come out. Are they going to be ready for it, though? Wicked catches Mono. Down he goes. Wookie uses that information and suppresses the corner. Doesn't go for the cross off of that suppression. Willow is there to find the shots. Down he goes. Lipinski catches Theta, and Mayhem getting picked apart here with an aggressive defense from the likes of Animal House. Only 2 left alive.
-2 red 3.
Big trade there. Willow now only 1 of 2. I think that 1 of none. There's only 1 left alive for Animal House, and it's Wicked Hex in a very forward position. Has to rotate back and is definitely going to spy this rotation. Don't think so. Wicked Hex in blue room, and now if he's going to cross the street for the res, it's a huge cross. He goes just as Defilade nearly peaks the angle. He's going to be able to get over there and get those reses as long as Defilade doesn't direct his vision there. Objective is pretty open. Wicked Hex can't invest too much time in going there to pick up those reses, and he does realize that and drops back to watch the OBJ. This is going to come down to the 1v1. No, it's not. Wicked's dropping off as Defilade pushes up. Wicked Hex crashing in. Shots come in. Defilade pulls out the rifle, goes for the trade, gets it. Mayhem take the single point off of what is a very solid defensive job from Wicked Hex to not go for that res. Ultimately just letting it be 1 point instead of 2, but still Mayhem now up 2 on Animal House's map pick. And they have not been making this series easy for Animal House. It has been a very strong performing Mayhem. I think as they get deeper, you know, it seems to me as they have climbed the ladder, they have put more and more time into their practice, and they seem to be a better and better team each week. They are really looking good here up against Animal House. And I say that because Animal House is no slouch. They are a good team, especially in the current iteration of the meta without smokes. I think they do well. They play quick, they have good shots, but Mayhem are just playing so clean right now that they're making it hard for Animal House, and they're making it look easy up against a team that is not easy against. So we'll see if Animal House can bounce back. They nearly did it on Downfall. Like I said, they started to get momentum. They need to get it earlier here. They can't afford to let Mayhem stack up a 3-0 lead and then have it all come down to a 4-0 run to get the final map. A little cushion, a little comfort. Get one round here and just let yourself have a little bit of a space to work with is all they need. Heck, if they can snag a cap here, it's going to tie things up. So we'll see what Animal House bring to the table for round number 3. An early spawn, a quick spawn for Animal House, but they don't push heavily off of it. They get set up early and wait to see if Mayhem do any sort of aggressive pushing, which is an interesting play style considering how Mayhem have played today. They have held incredibly tight angles. To then look for something aggressive or a heavy rotation out the gate is definitely, I would say, not something I would anticipate Mayhem to be doing at this point.
There's 2 of them near the objective windows. Objective windows?
Dolomite's looking for an angle through the window there onto Theta. He can't find it. Wicked getting closer and closer to the likes of Theta, but not quite there yet. Should hear all those footsteps. Theta can't hear anything. Wicked's staying silent enough on this approach.
Directly behind me.
Oh, and a mic pot from Wicked Hex. Theta heard that and now has information. Again, if you're not familiar, open comms here in this game. The enemy can hear you and your teammates can, and it's just the way the game works. And if you happen to bump your mic or do anything when you're slowly working your way up to an OBJ, it can be heard. Nade comes out, doesn't go the way he was hoping. Theta stays tucked in, stays alive. Wicked rotates again.
I'm flash Theta.
James flash from the side, gets tagged by Nolo. Hex rotating in, gets Theta. Theta had to go for that pick. Willow continues to push in here, dodges James's eyesight somehow, and now James in a very unique position. Oh, a team kill. Willow goes to the res, down he goes. Wicked still not swinging off of those shots.
-1.
Pensky looking for the refrag, doesn't get it. James again peeking. Wicked finally goes for that check. Mono now the closest to objective. A trade! The double team kill coming out from the likes of Animal House, shooting themselves in the foot quite literally in this what could have been a big comeback round, as Nix does find Mono, and now Wookie's the sole defender. A flash comes out up through the center courtyard. No one's there quite yet. 2 minutes left for Wookie to hold this all on his own. It's going to be a 1v3 soon. Huge. Massive pickup for Wookie to kick things off. Nolomite and Lipinski are getting a lot of info, though. Wookie is now ID'd and trapped in blue room. If he ever tries to rotate, unless he goes prone, may be able to push out to the corner. But it is definitely going to be This Animal House team dialing into that blue room as they make their push. And again, yeah, I'm wondering if you gotta be, if you're thinking cap here, maybe have Lipinski draw a big enough distraction around the blue room while you have Nolo push in from the north. Could be a nice little way of trying to work themselves up to that cap, but 50 seconds left. They're not gonna have a ton of time. And again, the tight angles, Wookiee is not peeking. He knows that this team has to push and cross this line of sight. Flash goes a bit far. Wookiee gonna hear this. Gets Nolomite. Down goes one. Lipinski doesn't sync up with Nolo, and now Wookiee still alive. Can take Lipinski on his 1v1. 15 seconds left. Lipinski peeks. He has to charge Wookiee. He has to go for this kill. Wookiee knows it. He tries to check the angle there on Lipinski. Lipinski gets the kill and a sigh of relief as he lays down on his floor, both in game and in real life. Animal House on the board, very, very nearly losing it there, but do put up a point and keep things close. A very key point. Like I said, they could not allow that to go 3-0, and now they go on the defense, very tying things up within range here for Animal House, and perfect, exactly what they needed to do there. Maybe also a little bit too much hype. The heart rate too high, elevated there for the likes of Lipinski, because there is a timeout called for Animal House. I'm not seeing any technical drops or difficulties, so I'm assuming it's a tactical one, which again is going to lead us to an intermission. This one most likely going to be about 2 minutes, but we'll be back for what could be the series decider. You're not going to want to miss this. Mayhem, if they take this map too, it's going to be their series. If Animal House take it, we're going to a best of 3. And so far, things have been pretty close, so I'm not putting this one out of Animal House's reach just yet, neither should you. Come right back at the end of this intermission. Thank you all for patiently waiting throughout that intermission. The tactical timeout resulted in a tactical sub for Animal House. Green Theft Auto is brought in, and
I was down, but it made me look like I was somewhere safer.
we'll see if it's enough for Animal House to defend effectively against the likes of Mayhem. They've been doing... well, they've had a rough go about it, really. Mayhem have been playing clean today, and
Try not to peek too much.
a 1v1 that last round, getting Animal House a point. See now what Mayhem's push looks like.
He's dead, he's dead, he's dead.
Ooh, and Wicked peeking up on the ramp in the east. Defilade catches him out.
I confirmed. Or at least tried to. Hey, I hear reflexes over there.
Defilade with callouts. Mono catching Nolamite on the east side, swinging around for that res on the Wicked. And Wicked is here, able to call out all kinds of information, but it may end up hurting this Animal House defense. Green Theft is peeking here. Takes shots onto Wookiee with a nice pickup there. Catches his head up over the tank.
One on tank, there's one in the east. Far east.
There's still one more. Yeah, someone with him. He's around scaffolding around that corner.
Oh, and Green aware Mono was there. He checked the bit of wall there where Mono could ramp up, and just as he left to pulled away from that angle, Mono peeks it. Nades, flashes, all kinds of utility coming into the direction of Nix. A good pickup from Lipinski onto Theta, a key one at that. And it's down to these two in a 2v3. Flash comes out. I think that doesn't catch Ning, so he's going to stay safe. All this utility getting tossed in here and no action. James does get Ninx through that north lane, and now it is down to Lipinski in the 1v3. He's going to have to panic, scramble, cover a lot of different angles. It's too many. As Defilade finds an angle from the back, and Mayhem push their lead up 3-1. Get a sip of this tea here. An exciting series, despite the score. Well, because of the scoreline, I would say, honestly, 4-2, a pretty close bit there on downfall, and now here 3-1. Not counting Animal House yet, out just yet. You know, Mayhem have had the lead both maps so far in the series, but Animal House have been battling, bringing it close. 1v2s, 1v1s. At the same time, Mayhem have had some very powerful rounds. They started off downfall with 2 undefeated rounds, save for a trade at the final kill with Theta. Meaning they went, the entire team did not die for 2 rounds. So they just kicked off downfall with such crazy momentum that for them now to, for Animal House to rally against that, it is not going to be easy. You know, it's proven difficult so far here on their map pick, but Animal House is a resilient squad and a team that I do think can probably battle up against this adversity. They've brought in Green Theft to hopefully rally them a little bit, and there's his first round back there when it was 2-1. We'll see if he can, again, aid his team here. We dive into round number 5.
4422489 EVS code. 4422489. You don't need that. Alright,
I'm gonna
cap
go
it.
north.
4422. Watch for one to push out the street too.
That's not mine.
Think they would?
Yep.
They've been playing really slow. I doubt it.
Oh, there goes
Good
my
bit of insight there, Nynx, addressing what I was pointing out earlier. Nynx has recognized how tight Mayhem has been playing, and the call out was maybe there's going to be a rotation on the north. That's an incredibly aggressive peak that does come in sometimes, but to see that peak down this middle street is would not be what Mayhem would do today, considering how they've been playing. It's been very tight angles around objective, tight kill boxes. Maybe one or two investing in peeking, but other than that, everyone has been very disciplined on holding their angles. And with this objective, that's all that really requires, so I don't anticipate it to change. Take a look at the overhead, get an idea. We may have an exchange in the south soon.
Killed one.
They're behind Mono.
I stand corrected. Nynx actually getting that south defensive position. Now he hears comms from Mono. He's going to toss a nade. It's not going to go nearly far enough at all. Mono gets picked up by Wicked from Red Car. And now James is looking for something up through the middle here. An Overwatch from that window way back there. Lipinski trying to take off James if he tries to swing out. He does, and down goes James. Lipinski with some good shots. A tight angle he's been holding. Mayhem getting picked off one at a time. Defilade suddenly in a very tough bind. Suppressive fire onto objective coming in from the friendlies. Defilade's the last alive. There's a potential cap opportunity available here. Defilade finds one. Here's Green Theft. Gets Green Theft. That's 2. How much HP and ammo does he have left? And how aggressive is he willing to get? Swings on Nynx. Can't find that one. Animal House reversing the momentum entirely. I didn't count him out, but I was going to say the momentum is heavily favoring Mayhem with that 3-1 lead, the 4-2 map win. But Animal House just really, that was like a different Animal House team there. They found all of their picks. They had great Overwatch. Everyone was synced up. Really good bit of teamwork there to get AH the round, and I don't know what changed, but solid performance from them. And now all they got to do again is defend here, and they can tie this up. Mayhem have not been making that easy. They've won quite a bit of Marsoc rounds. Round number 6.
I'm watching for someone who goes to blue room. If you can watch someone who's from the west,
I
you
got
have
somebody
to
in from the
know
heights
someone
right
to
here
get
in
in.
this window. Watching south.
That one is always pre-fired. I'd be careful about that.
Dude, my audio's going in and out. Didn't see anything, just pre-fire. Blue 2 or 3. One's here on me already. West Middle Bazaar.
Green Theft IDing Mono, giving away his position for the sake of calls. Now Mono heard those comms and knows there's one here. Obviously the pre-fire through the wood there down this lane also giving Mono information, but what was an aggressive bit of defense from Green Theft out the gate. He's still playing a forward position here, but he's not pushing past this line. As I say that, he peeks a bit out. Theta doesn't ID that peek. He doesn't catch Mono either, who's tucked in. Green Theft in a dangerous position. See what Theta's choice is here and what he decides to do up against the likes of Green. Green really tucking it against the wall. Gets Mono. Is he going to try and swing out here and look for Theta next? Yes, Theta tries to get in there, but the headshot from Green Theft. The sub picks up a double, and he's going to try and tie this thing up 3-3. As now Mayhem into a 3v5. Not ideal for this team, but perfect for the likes of Animal House. Exactly how you want to kick off your defensive round when you have to get the win. Green actually may find another kill if he decides to swing out behind him. Defilade working his way up into the mini bazaar. If Green gets over aggressive, he could swing out and have eyes down into James and Wookie, who are still working their way up through the north. There's the shots from Defilade. He's in an exchange with Green, and Green has been playing it quick in Mini Bazaar with the LMG, and it has paid off dividends. A huge pickup from James, a key one at that, because now it opens up this entryway for him. Lipinski's going to be next on the hit list. As a nade comes out, up and over, that's a great flash. James completely blind here. Wookie isn't. He was watching the cross, though. It would have been a nice little bit of maneuvering there from the defense. Doesn't quite pay off. Wookie now using that information. Since that cross came in, he can now assume Nolo is still resable. So that's what that call-out was. Lipinski also still tucked in, but Wookie's not nading that. Lipinski could quickly swing here. James there on Nolo gets the kill. Lipinski looking for Wookie. Doesn't spot him. But Lipinski playing very disciplined here, not swinging out, not getting over aggressive, not until it's Wookie out in the open. Down he goes, and now James pushing into the 1v3. Wicked Hex finds him through the window. Animal House not letting this one get away from him. Tied things up 3-3, and they're taking this map to a round 7. Should come as no surprise But the full minute and a half utilized there between the round to hash out a strategy for both teams, most likely, is we take our round 7 to the most volatile of objectives. An objective that is one of the toughest to defend effectively, the Kayat OBJ. And we'll see what Mayhem do to prevent the likes of Animal House from overwhelming them on this objective. Defilade taking shots, Theta IDing that as the east spawn.
Since they know our spawn. You got this. My guess is they just put somebody in mini bar.
Theta catching Green Theft, trying to swing out of blue. Wicked's gonna nade a common defensive position in the center. Rest of the offense swinging wide on Theta. They're not looking to challenge him there. Pensky making himself known here. Curious that he's taking those shots without really knowing any location. It does draw utility use out, and a trade in the center between Wicked and Theta comes out. Defilade team killing James, helping out the likes of Animal House now as we're all tied up 3-3. What is going on here? A long rotation from Nynx, deciding he doesn't want to come in from that end. Maybe he wants to reinforce with his team, and if there was the 3 here, it could be a solid push from this side, but Lipinski and Nolamite are trying to do it on their own.
Just short of the nade.
Nynx not quite in position for this kind of push just yet, so they gotta wait for him.
One just ran into the yacht from west.
Push up, information there gathered. They know 2 are in, at least 1's in Kayat, rather. Defilade's still holding his angle in that corner, and I doubt that Lipinski is going to be prepped for this unless Defilade makes noise.
-1.
Solid pickup from Defilade. Now it's up to Nolamite and Nynx. Nynx coming in from the center, and Nolamite hearing this info from Defilade, and now Mono.
We got OBJ covered. Effie, you're watching the east, right?
Now, Nolo could have heard those comms from Mono, and that would have been information that 1 is in the east. Now he should hear these footsteps as well and really be keyed in to the fact that Defilade's here.
Dude, I can't fucking hear you.
Defilade does have to call out. Nynx still working his way up as well. Almost has the ang onto Mono there if he peeks the window. There's the shots through the bars, gets the kill. Now Defilade has to potentially rotate. Shots come in at him, and Nolamite should get that information from his teammate. Nade comes out. It's a botched nade. It doesn't go where he wants. He flashes. Not Defilade, and the trade comes out. I thought he might have flashed himself. Now all up to Nynx versus Wookie. Wookie The one-man defense here on OBJ. Nix is going to swing onto the corner. Shots come in onto the pillar. They miss, and Wookie gets the trade. The navigation around the pillar keeps him alive just long enough to find the shots he needs. Mayhem secure the series in a down-to-the-wire 1v1. Now, don't go anywhere. Map 3 is still going to be featured here. We still got more Onward for you. And it is going to be on quarantine, so you may see something unique, something fun, something interesting here on the likes of Q1, but a wild objective to have the final round on a wild finale to that map, and ultimately Mayhem able to squeak ahead with the Series W. And now we go to map 3. And again, it's important for these teams that may have just lost the series to still play out this third map and get some points on the board. If you lose, the amount of points you lose by affects how much you go down in rank. And so at this point in the season, this Animal House team cannot afford to drop much lower than 11th or 12th if they want to be a contender to crawl back into that top 7. But and so to that point, you know, they have to focus up here on this final map, on this quarantine map, which is Mayhem's map pick. They have to lock it in here and really try and get some more points on the board like they did there on Bazaar. Because if they can do that, they're going to limit how much they're going to dip in the overall worldwide rankings. To that point, I don't think Animal House are strangers to the Challenger Cup, but it is not where anybody wants to be. It is like I said, it's a lot of games to play, a lot of games to win, just to lock yourself in that position at into the closed qualifier, and then you have the battle of your life going up against ranks 1 through 7 worldwide. So we'll see. We'll see how things shake up as we hop in to map number 3, round number 1 on quarantine.
You cannot run up that.
Yep.
Go up the turbine.
You cannot.
Wait.
Did they pass that because
turbine has
I
been
don't
done.
pass?
The turbine has been done.
Maybe.
Everyone, they knew about it for a long time.
Everyone knew about it.
But you ruined it, definitely.
Go, 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 go.
Yeah, you specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running the full sprint game, never stopping.
All right.
Stop, won't stop.
Two legit, two skills.
Shots coming from Nix on the corner. Wookie looks for the refrag, can't quite get him. But information. Now they know where the spawn is. Wicked instantly finds a frag off of that knowledge, and a very quick pickup there out the gate to get things going nicely as Green Theft finalizes the kill over in the south.
Can't move this thing. They're on a rooftop?
Ooh, a big peek there. Tries to get Defilade. Defilade has a bit more cover. Finds those shots, and the rotation coming in fast from Wookie. He's still been sprinting, like you said at the start of the round. He's not going to not sprint, and here he is charging in towards objective, and it's a bit of a weak OBJ coverage. A nice flash up and over, blinding Wicked out. Wookie going to rotate long-wise and potentially swing in from the backside of Wicked if he's quiet enough. He has all the time in the world. Defilade shoots himself.
Yeah, you guys can clear this guy off rooftop. Run rooftop, go guys.
I mean, this is so close. Wookie can push up through here,
I'm pinned on objective here.
potentially have an angle onto Wicked, and the entire defense has a long rotation to go. Green Theft and Lipinski have to push out a good bit to this objective to get here, and so They have no clue that Wookiee has made it behind them at this point.
Burning and fuming.
Yeah, not a single even idea that Wookiee's here. Information for Wookiee. Gets the kill and somehow Wicked finds the trade. I didn't set team name. Sorry for that. Team wins. The Animal House taking the round. Team versus team, everybody. The second time that Animal House has led, and the first time it's been on a Mayhem map pick. So a solid hold there, nearly catastrophic, but does get the key trade, and Mayhem do not get what could have been a cap to kick off map 3.
Have they got staff on?
Jesus Christ, that sounds so fucking weird.
I haven't gone mute. I'm just
Broken.
locked in to the cams. Green Theft taking some pre-fire out. Doesn't find the shots. Now Wookiee and Wicked going to be challenging each other on this north lane. A good nade toss goes out, but doesn't catch Wookiee as he drops back. Wicked pushes off that and now has control of the north, and Wookiee on defense can afford to sort of let the offense come to him. Oh, the peak goes a bit too wide. Really overextended himself on that corner there, and down he goes. Wicked finds one. Theta ID'd by Nynx. Wicked gets that kill. A good flank from him. Animal House. They may very well run away with map 2 if they can run this kind of momentum. 5-3 now.
Is that 2 down or 1 down?
Shit, Wicked.
Corner of post office on the south on the wall.
Post office. Oh, that's right across from us.
As soon as the callouts come in, Lipinski finds the shots.
Behind that building.
Interesting bit of shots there from Nynx. Does give information. Curious if Defilade's going to work off of that. If he peeks up too much, he could go down. Lipinski almost has a line of sight. Nope, one gets scooped up. The shots up from Wicked Hex almost land, but don't quite.
Running near me. I think he's on North Road.
Only 2 left alive now. Lipinski charging Defilade on the wall and gets him. Mono finds 2 inside objective, and he's able to hold for now a 1v2 in his hands as Lipinski and Nolamite slowly work themselves into the pinch on the Mono here. Question is can they sync up? Because they've had a bit of trouble syncing up in these 1v2 moments. What you don't want to do is sort of file in one at a time and allow for those 1v1s to unfold.
He's in the corner of the ops building.
Comms from Lipinski. Mono's being fully suppressed. Does dip out there. Runs right into Nolamite. Takes shots on the back. Can't find them as Mono somehow dodges the bullets like Neo there. He didn't even know that there was a person behind him, but he just ends up quick peeking the corner, draws out the fire, and then swings. Very fortunate for him that he's playing so quick like this, and is able to snag himself a kill. Now up against Lipinski in the 1v1, botches the flash, ends up flashing himself. It opens up an opportunity for Lipinski to work himself up towards objective.
Oh my god, dude. I got stuck on the thing.
Another clutch for Lipinski as he locks in another round for Animal House. A solid performance from him there. Dodges the flash around the tank and then gets the final kill. And this is exactly what AH needed to do. They needed to really come into this map and pile on a couple of points, minimize the damage done, minimize the gap in overall points here. And if they can come out with an even scoreline, 8-8 overall, it's going to be perfect for them. They're really going to maybe potentially even not even drop down in rank, which, you know, for where they are, rank 10, they need to stay right there. For the next 2 weeks, they cannot afford to be much lower than that if they want to be a contender for the top 7 position. Yeah, I'm just seeing now actually from Sky and chat that there is also a potential for Animal House to actually be winners in points. For those unaware of how the scoring system works here, that would still mean that Animal House lose MMR and that Mayhem gain MMR, just that it would really be almost negligible at that point. And so we'll see if Animal House can pull it off. They already have a 2-0 lead. They go on to the defense on a new objective, the Plain Wing. We'll see if they can snag round 3.
I am. I'm watching everybody.
They're back there.
Keep eyes on the road.
Early southeast spawn identified. Lots of new routes to take in the south here. Green Theft not ready for the variety of angles that were held on him. Mono and James scoop up 1.
I heard talking near burning.
Oh, a trade over on the north.
One in burning first floor.
Lipinski snipes Defilade. Shots come in towards Mono from Nolamite. 3v3 now. Animal House able to answer back with a couple of kills of their own.
Hands way up.
Burning's dead, Burning's dead.
Get ready, James.
Here comes a synced maneuver. Mono's going to most likely suppress the window onto Nolamite while James makes his way up to that gas station.
Mono, do you have a frac? Mono, do you have a frac? Had to overthrow it. Why is my going left? Ah.
I'm just waiting for this push to come in from Mayhem, but Mono and James playing it safe for now. Maybe waiting
One on objective.
for their overwatch on the rooftop to take shots. It is going to be Theta. Out of Wicked's position isn't going to be able to be ID'd by the likes of Theta either. He's got his vision blocked.
One down rooftop.
I think he was looking for those shots, but a bit of an over-aggressive rotation up on that hilltop there. Super exposed, gets himself caught. Flash comes out towards Wicked. Doesn't go over the wall, so Wicked full vision here as Mono goes for the swing. Down he goes. Animal House 1 kill away from making this 3-0. James trying to catch an angle on the Wicked from the roof. Can't quite get it. Can Nolo spot him? No. 45 seconds, though. James is going to have to move. $30 seconds left. Finds one. Can he get the double? How much ammo does he have? What are his choices? Utility scooped up and tossed out right onto OBJ. That might catch Wicked out. Oh, and a counter flash out towards James catches him completely blind. Very good hold from Wicked on OBJ. Gets Animal House the 3rd point on map 3. Round number 4. Heavily into the hands of Animal House.
I'm gonna rush left.
Yeah, I think you're rushing the roof corner.
Hopefully, yeah, for Mayhem to get him hyped up. Animal House with the crater spawn. It's going to be a heavy north push from this AH team.
Copy. I don't think they'll push that.
Some chance.
Yep, there's one over there in between the 2 buildings. I saw him. He came up Came up and peeked for just a split second.
I'm watching that far corner.
Wicked and Nynx working up through the north. It's incredibly dangerous to peek this corner, and Wicked, aware of that, gets fast on it, sprints to one side, sprints back, able to dodge those bullets for now, and reflex is not quite fast enough for Mono to catch him out.
I heard something over there.
But information for both teams, really. Defilade, Mono. You see the rotation from Theta to reinforce the north here, and the defense well aware that that crater spawn in the north is where a couple of the offense is at right now. Green Theft actually tossing himself a pretty nice flash. Definitely tries to counter it. Green's right there. Nolo confirming it up over the top. Another flash comes out. That one's, if anything, just going to catch Green. Defilade tosses one of his own. Doesn't swing off of it. Suppressive fire a bit too thick for Defilade to push out on. Mono, however, can look for a piece, but he's getting pushed in by Green Theft as well. Green Theft does get tagged. Mono finally finds one at White House. The res available, though. We'll see if Defilade can get the confirm. I doubt it. Lipinski pushing pressure onto Mono, as well as Nynx. They've rotating heavily here. Nynx finds the all-important kill. Defilade not feeling so good at being that aggressive. Drops back, and he's going to cover the west.
Coming back.
Animal House absolutely dominating on quarantine.
Confirm third.
They have an accurate kill count as well, so they know they're in a 5v2 right now, and they are charging this objective as a team. Wookie goes down. James able to catch one. The lone survivor on objective is getting heavily pushed, though. Wicked actually pat out. He's going to go for a cap. Animal House could and do take this 5-0 and actually take the overall scoreline by 2. I don't think I've ever seen that. I've seen the scoreline tied. I've seen it go just barely by 1 to the enemy team, but I have never seen a team. Is my math right? Yeah, get a scoreline of more than 2 overall from the enemy squad. A perfect performance for them on quarantine on map number 3, and I gotta wonder where that Animal House coordination and aggression was on Downfall and Bazaar. Mayhem really just running over the AH team, because I think they were playing a bit too passive on those 2 maps, and I'm not sure if that ultimately is what leads to Mayhem snagging the first 2 so commandingly. But hey, it did come down to 3-3 on Bazaar, and then finally momentum was in Animal House's favor, 5-0 on Q1. Powerful series. Good performances from both ends, and I'm happy that we were able to catch it here live on VRML. Shout out to everyone that's tuned in. Make sure you follow the channel. If you have Twitch Prime, subscribe. Support goes back to me at this point. I think I did 5 casts this week and 5 last, so if there's a cast, my hands are on it basically at this. Anyway, it's a joke. It goes to everyone that does casts, and we do appreciate it. So thank you so much. Let's see, a quick shout out to all of our sponsors: ProTube VR, VR Cover, B-Hactics, Rebuff Reality, Cyber Shoes, Arma, VRware, Asterion, and Fixed Gaming. I keep saying it, keep your eyes on the space. I anticipate that list to grow. Certainly isn't shrinking, that's for sure. These teams, if you're not aware, competing for $1,500 to over $1,500 in cash and $3,500 in actual prizing. So a lot on the line when it comes down to it, and it's why these series get so dang exciting. Reminder, only 2 weeks of regular season left, so you're going to want to tune in to whatever we deliver here onto this channel. It's going to be focusing on those top-tier teams battling it out for that top 7th position. But we may tune into a few bronze matchups from time to time as well. That's going to be it from me. I've been your host, NightFiree with 2 E's. And I will see you next week with more Onward VRML.